It's all led to this. Yeah, an awesome acknowledgement that it's all led to this.
Yeah. So now what?
My question is that this incredible form, this body, is a miracle, but it's not all me. It's the DNA is 50% human and 50% lots of other weird things.
Yeah. Your percentages are way off, but we get your point.
Well, this is science speaking. My focus is mostly on how to be in satisfaction most of the time. I have a life where I can do that.
Yeah.
I can sit back and go, this is satisfying.
Yeah.
This is more satisfying.
Oh, you got control right there.
Yeah.
Right there. You got that. You have that control. That's the perfect place to be.
So in this position, I can witness, it's like a dial. In satisfaction, out of satisfaction, in satisfaction. And sometimes it appears that there are other beings that are cohabitating this form that have their own point of attraction that takes their satisfaction using my energy and detracts from my own satisfaction.
That is never happening because there is no such thing as assertion. But you might be inviting some of that in through your own thoughts. That's why we went to such extreme to convince you of the existence of your inner being who really is paving the trail, because it's all up to what you think about. And so that statement that you just made, did it feel satisfying or not?
I want to feel more satisfied.
So
I'm sitting in front of infinite intelligence to fine-tune this.
It didn't feel that satisfying, did it?
I'm waiting for the satisfaction to come through an answer to this query.
So here I am. I'm an extension of source energy, and I'm exploring things in this environment. And some of them feel more satisfying than others. And the wonderful thing is that whether I find satisfaction or not, whether I see something I don't want or whether I see something that I do want, that out of my deciphering of life, I get to choose what I prefer, the satisfying or the not satisfying. And I'm doing it all day, every day, and therefore creating this vibrational reality that my inner being is fully aware of and fully embedded in. And the law of attraction is responding to my inner being, who is all over all of the choices that I made of what I want. So now I'm not that disciplined yet in my physical body, because I lived it and I knew what I didn't want, and therefore I knew what I did want. But I might be defensive, or I might be justifying, or I might be just observing physical life in general. So even though I gave birth to a whole lot of improvements, I might not in my human form be up to speed with all of those improvements, because after all, I'm still living the life that caused me to ask for the improvement. And that may feel to you like there are forces that are holding you back from what you want, but it's not forces. It's just the law of attraction responding to the balance of the thoughts that you think. But you have a huge advantage, because you have an inner being who is infinitely more focused and more powerful. Talk about infinite intelligence, who is focused upon what you want and who you really are and the becoming that you have already carved out vibrationally. So if you are simply aware of whether that thought you just spoke out loud to us feels satisfying or not, and since it doesn't feel satisfying, you make a decision that you're going to give it less airtime, that you're going to look for other possibilities, or you're going to think about the part of that feels better to you. It won't take very long before you will no longer feel like there are others who are attaching themselves to you and dragging you back, because that is not a possible thing in this universe. There's no law of assertion. There's just law of attraction. So you're right in this sense. You could have an active thought that others who have that same active thought, you could be hooking up in those ways. But even if every person on the planet was thinking that thought with you, and every person on the planet, including you, was feeling that way, still, your own inner being, and all of us that hang out with your own inner being, is a much more powerful force for the well-being and the positive expansion of who you are than if every person on the planet was simultaneously pulling against you, which they never are.
Yeah, awesome. And Great answer. Of course.
Satisfying.
Very satisfying. And sometimes it feels like that being in an aging body detracts from that level of feeling. What
Is that
this...
a satisfying thought? So what you want to say is, but it's true.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it.
What about a clearer body? What about a wiser body? What about an endlessly renewing body? What about a body who can focus either through thought or defocus through meditation and allow vibrational rising to vibrational harmony, and then in that alignment experience the refreshment of that alignment?
Yes. And to feel that alignment in a vital, healthy body is the ultimate being in experience of human form.
The more you do it, 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 the more you do it. None of you said, I'll come and stay in this body, because you like the refreshment of the new vantage point. You get here, Esther says from time to time, Abraham, I'm not all that interested in the refreshment of a new vantage point, because I'm just really liking this vantage point. I really don't want to refresh anytime soon, okay? So I really want that refreshment anytime soon. I really like this. But we say, oh, but you're really going to like the refreshment. In other words, you're really going to like all that you know and all that you are, and refocusing and figuring it out again and catching up with who you really are. In other words, it just gets better and better and better and better and better and better and better. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I agree. My other quick question is around complacency. With this ability to sit in satisfaction,
Yeah.
there is a definite focus on not focusing on stuff that's going wrong.
Yeah.
So I keep it general.
That's good.
And the last year or so, there's been a lot going on, so I've been general.
Yeah.
And it's like I've developed this great four-wheel drive off-road suspension system.
Maybe it feels like that, but there's a flawed premise going on here, and we really want you to feel this. We really want you to hear us when we say that if you are consistently in a state of satisfaction, you cannot be complacent, because satisfaction allows the momentum to gather. In other words, remember when we just said that your inner being is moving forward into all that you've asked for and has paved the way and built the bridges and cleared the underbrush, and so momentum has to come. And if it feels otherwise, then you are not as satisfied as you are claiming to be. You must be introducing enough dissatisfaction that you're keeping yourself in what feels like that complacent place. A little more to clean up, and it won't feel like that.
Okay.
Good enough?
Thank you, yes. More satisfaction.
Really good. Really good.
I have so much to say in so little time, but I want to start
Shortage
off.
consciousness does not serve you, because time is perceptual.
Exactly, and
Sorry, your time is up.
I want to start first of all by thanking Esther so much for excuse me.
Well, that's a good use of time, because appreciation hooks you right up with who you are, and then your perception is more. Yes. And then?
So I was feeling, for various reasons, awful in Athens, and I had the chance meeting of running into Ron, and I said, hey, Ron, how's it going? And then he said, hey, Joel, how's it going? And then all of a sudden you just walked out of like nowhere, and you walked up to me and you touched my wrist, and you asked me how I was doing, and I lied to you. I said I felt fine. And I asked you, well, I did feel fine because I was right beside Esther. And then I asked you how you were doing, and of course you were doing fine, and you gave me a wonderful smile and you walked away, but I felt your wonderful golden energy. Wrap around me. And I felt so good after.
That's why Esther felt the impulse to reach out.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And thank you so
Yeah,
much.
so you were asking. You weren't as far off from asking as you thought you were. And with all of those people in all of those places, in other words, it wasn't just the physical people running around. Esther was in concert with a whole lot of dead guys, too. And following the impulse, one of the members of their group got separated, and they were waiting to rendezvous, and he didn't come, and he didn't come, and he didn't come, and he didn't come. And Esther said to a friend, her friend said to Esther, let's go find him. And a minute later, they had him. They had him, because that's how it works. When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, broader perspective has already carved the path. And when you're feeling good, the impulse just leads you down that path to answer whatever. Yes?
You answered in my dreams. I wanted to meet you, even if just briefly. And when I did, you taught me something. When I first...
Did you notice that Esther didn't reach back for you? She reached forward
Forward,
for you?
yeah, exactly. Yes, she did. Very warm hands, very wonderful smile, penetrating eyes. It's no wonder Abraham is flowing through you so easily, because you are pure joy.
Not always.
That's just because you're human, yeah.
She hooks up often enough that she's a very helpful co-creator, as are you.
Thank you so much. And I've been held back most of my life. I spoke to you about my anxiety on the very first day, and I didn't realize where it came from. I just knew I had it, and I had thought about it before, and I'd forgotten this and that. When you had Stephen, or when Stephen came up, or when you had Stephen come up, he was speaking about his speech impediment, which made me. I go, pow, that's what it was. From the age of 5 to 18, I couldn't communicate.